Welcome to yet another episode of Pass and Move, your number one soccer podcast in the land. As promised, guys, I need to tell you for the last week. As promised, I'll be having different guests, different spheres of ibhola lethu la Bulawayo eleZimbabwe. And namhlanje kuyachisa e-studio. Angikwazi ngizam-introduce later, but mana ngiqale ngibhadala ama-bills first. The program is sponsored by Benaya Foods. I'm so happy, Jan. Benaya is keeping our lights on every single day. Benaya, the makers of meal, sugar beans, popcorn, amatemba, amaputi. You can find them at 15240 Asbestos Road, Kelvin West, opposite Mondela Beer Garden. That's where the factory is. They've got a supermarket, Mganwini. What was Mganwini means? That's it, my brother. We've got a supermarket, Konapana, where you can find our products. Wonga wepena, ikona all over the country. Ikona ekwanda. Tola, but do they say Kempe police at Tori Ipena. We've paid our bills. This is our sponsor. And today in the building, as I've alluded before, I'm going to introduce Jan. I was a young man, about 13 years old. Get a secondary school. He was my teacher. He was my coach. He was my mentor in life. He's done brilliant things eBoreni. Umkhulu kakhulu uyasabisa lam akuzima. But anyway, the show has to go on. I've got in the building former Highlanders coach, former Aumain coach, former Mochutu Chiefs coach. Nyangwaza mayenza wachi, but we'll get into that. Former Mochutu Center Chiefs coach, Botswana, is an international coach, CAF licensed coach, super brilliant human being. And today in the building, I've got Philani Mabhena, my former teacher, my former coach, my mentor in life. Say, welcome to Pass and Move.
Thank you so much. And is it a warm afternoon to the viewers, wherever you'll be watching this from?
Yeah.
I want to appreciate the invitation. I'm deeply honored as well to be here.
Pleasure, say. I don't think I did justice to the introduction though.
Yes, you tried your best. I think
best,
you covered a little bit of it. You forgot where it started. Yes, where it started.
I think where it started is we're going there.
Yeah, okay.
Where it
all
started,
right.
we're going there.
All right.
I was just giving a tip of the iceberg.
Oh yes.
So I was just giving them a tip of the iceberg, just so they know.
Yeah.
Exactly who is Philani Mabhena.
Oh yes.
But we'll go. Let's start where it started.
Yes. Yo. Ngingumfana nje owakhula just like all the other boys in the 70s, late 70s, sivula amehlo qasa ukudlala ibhola lamaphepha nolana ukuthi sasisuka endlini ekuseni after breakfast awubonakali the whole day uze uyantambama umhlophe ngithenke usenzo okunyenye ungena endlini sneaking into the house ukuthi mama ngakubona ukuthi ungcolile uhluye geza very fast uqeda ukugeza you demand your lunch, you demand your supper at the same time, and you blow those two up. That's how I grew up playing football. Ubaba was a prison officer.
Okay.
Saqalisa kuGreyla, then he went to Kami, and then was transferred to Harare, where at Mind prison he was the second in charge there.
So you're also moving around?
Oh yes, we're moving. That's where I met my age mates, or Vitalis Takawera, we played together.
Okay.
Or Claudius Zuripa, we played together. Or Simon Chuma, we were age mates, we played together. In Kompon, but going to different schools. I went to a school called Churchill High School in Harare.
Very familiar.
Ikola pesadlala khona ibhola wele primary ngihamba eHarare futhi David Livingstone.
Okay, singayijaha. Asiqale
ngidlala ibhola khona.
Asibambe kancane ngani singayijaha. Asiqale primary. Primary singa.
Primary grade 1 and grade 2 Kami primary school. Then grade 3 to grade 7 David Livingstone in Harare.
Okay, so italent elebhola or uthando lebhola lihle liqalise khona grade 1 and 2 old, guys are from grade 3. Ususe-
uthando lwebhola vele luqalise within the family, especially on my mother's side. Omalmami played for Highlanders. Same group labo Lawrence Phiri, wayethiwa nguNehemiah Khanye.
Okay.
Labo Alfred Khanye, that's from my mother's side. So ibhola vele sasilithanda from then. Sihambe siyabukela imncane eBF. I remember late 70s, 77, 6 khonapho. Siyabukela ibhola. Then
Shadrack Khanye, yamazi uNehemiah Khanye. Maybe.
yes, he's late. May his soul rest in peace.
may his soul rest in
Then went to Harare at David Livingstone. Siyabukela ibhola. I remember vividly game engiyikhumbulayo when Highlanders played Rio Tinto at Rufaro Stadium, 1980. You know, pre-independence, post-independence. There were so many buses that came from Bulawayo to watch that final. Highlanders top of the women team at that time, Rio Tinto, coached by John Rack. Ilama renowned names, David Zulu,
with Tito Packet.
Tito Packet came later. Liana Yailabo, Lawrence Phiri was playing. Cosmas was playing. Utsano, Lord Douglas was playing. Peter was young at that time.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, I think he missed that final in Moscow for the Olympics. Remember, Zimbabwe was invited for Olympics 1980. So that final was massive. You know, our politics then, it was more tribal.
Okay,
so it was like the Ndebele versus the Shona at that time. So it was packed. Rufaro Lapan and the Highlanders won that game, I think 4-1.
Okay.
Basically, Rio Tinto being a underdog. So I remember the passion started from there, watching, playing at school level. I was the captain of my primary school at David Livingstone. I remember in grade 4, grade 5. I was the school captain.
I had to mention those reply.
Yes.
That was the time.
Yes. Bona babese Ozurupai we met secondary. Bona babefunde Alan Wilson le Oriel. Simon Chuma was at Alan Wilson or Vitalis babese Oriel boys high, I think. Yeah. So we'd meet sidlala ma tournament, under 16 tournament. There was a cup called Dunlop Trophy that was played by schools under 16. So we'd meet. I remember we had a final hosted by our school then in 90. No, 91. It was 1990, 2000.
2000. It can't.
84, 87, 1987.
Yeah.
When I was doing Form 3. We met in that final. Massive, but sadly we were on penalties. But the interaction was massive. I think then Churchill was starting to realize the importance of junior development. Hence, eventually they ended up twinning with Dynamos to produce the famous Kids in Ega Moses Chunga, where you had the Marotos coming from that school, the Samson Choruas, the Edimashiris, and so on. Labolio Kraus is from that relationship that they had with Churchill High School, Dynamos, which was massive. Dynamos then it was not known to do junior football. But it came from First Division, top players, and that's how they were successful. But that era, I think Moses came in and said, no, let's start at development, and he produced that team, and it was massive talent.
But it's not about that, it's about you, remember? Yeah.
Yes. Dynamos is part of it. Then, Ngabuya Iplawela, after my O-levels, got into apprenticeship railways. Did my apprenticeship then. Thereafter, in 96, ngiqualifier, ngihamba ngafundisa. It was ngama journeyman teachers. I was a journeyman teacher teaching technical graphics and woodwork, MC Teli. Then I started coaching at Skolo Panapana. That's when you came in with a host of other players.
When does the playing stop?
The playing, I didn't do much playing at senior level.
Jose Mourinho type of.
Ubaba wami wathi achana le bhora lelo alincedi ngalutho at that time. So I just did my O levels and then came to do my apprenticeship ngadlalanga at senior level.
Okay.
But the passion was still there. Yeah, then I got involved in school football. I remember I did my first coaching course in 1997 under Gibson Omela. I remember, I think I was 27 years old when I started coaching.
Very young.
Yeah, very young. But I just went and
during those days, coach
I remember ngicoacha labo Ali, labo uButik owemthala, lo mdala umonyo weWandarazi, labadala bephumula, yey, and what football they, yey wena, labadala bephumula, abe Kachana, abe East Rovers, umdala uNcu Sam, abe East Rovers, sisiya eNtumbane kule team etayigugule to Eugene uDube versus Zimbabwe Saints, Arnold Macheza, lo Lazarus Zamangi, Umkoma Juju, may his soul rest in peace. What characters. It was so beautiful to learn from them. I learned a lot from those guys. They were my seniors, but at the same time, we were competitors. I also had a fantastic guy that I worked with, my mentor as well, Victor Samachu Uchuma.
Chuks.
Or young blood, Chuks. What a man.
We're going to get into Chuks. I know there's a whole lot of questions I want to ask about the relationship between you and Chuks. Yeah.
Yes.
So, by that time, already at Msitela High School.
Yes, I was at Msitela High School.
It's 1996,
97, 98.
I was doing my grade 6 and my grade 7. I was about to come into Msitela Secondary School. But then you were starting to make strides into. You started already with junior football, eh?
Yes, junior football.
Development.
Junior football.
How was the junior policies? Then the junior football. How was the junior, or the whole framework of the junior thing in Zim?
Actually, I think where we got it wrong was to separate junior club football and school football. Back then, Gwagule junior executive, Zifa junior executive, what was junior league executive. I remember Minankalisa, it was headed by Umdalu Majata. Harare Gwagulo Zifa, I think was running Utwang Zifa, Zivanai Senkotli Wisbongosaki. So it had its own executive.
Okay.
But affiliated to the Zifa motherboard. So they would run their own programs and they receive their funding from Zifa. Kusiba lama provincial tournaments under 13, kwakule presidential trophy under 15, okudlala province, which was contested for every birthday of president. Then it was the 21st of February, which is now the 21st February movement, I think. So each year, I'm a province, I dlala under 15, kube lama under 17 tournament, where best of Africa, where my provinces would compete against each other. And the talent then produced, go wrong on that.
It was, I remember I always said to the guys, with junior football, then that's why Zimbabwe could produce quality, not mediocre these days, but quality football that we can compete with any country in Africa.
And the talent identification process, it would cover the whole country.
Not just
no one was left behind because each province would come up with its team. Knockout, figure the best playing at the top, and then obviously the national coaches would also come from those provincial squads. It becomes the national coach for that age group. Katesi, I don't know how they're doing it, but
but we're not slacking.
Yes. We're missing out a lot of talent.
So we have done. What was the level then back in the day? The junior level coaching certificate that you.
Back then, Gwagulama, what were beginners?
So we were beginners then.
Yes, I did my beginners in 1997 under Gibson Omela. Then practiced 2 years. Then I went and did my level 1 practiced 2 years. Then I went and did my level 2. Practiced 2 years. Went and did my level 3. Then stayed a bit, and then CAF introduced a continental syllabus, which they call the CAF C. CAF C.
Okay.
It was 2013.
By now,
2013.
By now you're upgrading your certificate.
Yes.
Okay, let me take you back to 1998 when I first, because I started hearing about Mabhena in 1997 when I was at Luka private school. It was one of the reasons, maybe that's why I went to Msiteli Secondary School. They said, hey, ulo munyo coach, nelitani bora zo liza kolisi bora Msiteli, but ukijima.
Oh yes.
So my question is, I know you're doing basically everything back then as a coach. Now we've got different type of.
Yes.
There are people looking up for GPS system, technique, fitness, all that stuff. But then you were doing everything alone.
Yes.
It's 1998. I got into Msiteli Secondary School. Me, I'm used to school soccer. It's second term. I went to join the school soccer team. What I find, I'm wowed. We're not training like a school team.
Yeah.
It's more of a professional setup. I'm like, what? From that day up to now, I was like, yeah, I had the proper coach. Then during the years, you also changed your style a bit, but you had the passion already for proper development and proper coaching. Why was it like that? Because we know Tina Ekas was I'm a teacher, I'm a bar.
Oh yes.
I'm a teacher, I'm a teacher.
Yes.
But the specific MC, I was like, what?
It's organized training.
It's proper setup. Why did you study like?
You
I
know.
think you get my question.
Yes, I do. When you have this zeal for success, you research. There was a magazine called Kickoff. I was an ardent follower of that magazine. So within the book, they had a column for coaches, and that book at that time, the late Jeff Butler, who was coaching Kaizer Chiefs at that time. He would present training drills every week. Weekly book. So I would know every week that I'm getting something new from that guy. And that is where I got my inspiration to study football, to research on football, and implement modern trends at that time and up to now. And it really equipped me about how to train. And I also did a lot of research on how to deal with youth. Maybe the advantage I also had was the psychological part that you get to learn when you are a teacher. How do you handle umntwana ufunani? And I believe I got decent knowledge, and I was able to produce good performances from these boys that I dealt with at school level and at the club level.
By then we already with Chooks.
Yes.
I said I'll get there.
Yes.
It's
Young blood, yes.
Yes. What a team.
What a team.
What a team, and so many players produced.
Yes.
How was the relationship with Chooks? I'll get back to Msiteli. Now I want us to look at young blood. Your relationship with Chooks, because you were the talk of Bulawayo then, with the type of players that you had at young blood that you were producing. The relationship with you, because everyone knew it, when you go to Emakwekwe, and we'll list for viewers to know. We'll list the number of players that you produced that side.
Oh yes,
because you're doing an immense job that side.
Oh yes.
How was the relationship with Utobo Chooks?
Victor Chuma, they call him Sama Chu. Abafana would give him a nickname. I was sitting with Kare for whatever reason, but he loved football. He loved junior football, and nguyomfundisayo into eziningi planning, logistics about football, uchuma. How I met him, ngikhaya kuseMagwegwe West. So ngandidlula nje ngibone kula bafana abatrainayo. It was just when I started teaching in 1996. Mbone kula bafana abatrainayo laba mina vele umuntu wesports. Mbone uchuma uyedwa laphana.
No help.
Yeah, no help. Business it amdala. What ngikuncedise. That's how I joined them. I just asked him, no, what ngikuncedise. Lami, I was not yet a coach then. But I would follow Highlanders, especially the transitional period, Highlanders, Roy Barreto. I would follow how he was doing, how he was changing things at Highlanders, and then try to implement them. La Uchuma was resistant to those changes.
To change, because
change is difficult to take easily. So eventually, and he realized that he loves football. And I started training, from my salary, get cons, even uniforms, fund, CCMA came in and so on. So Uchuma was like a very good manager, brilliant manager. A good coach, and yes, he had the idea and on, but he was a brilliant manager. He knew how to manage, how to plan for games, how to prepare for games. So and Ama Cup games was brilliant. He knew ukuthi cup umuzwe esithi mapena this week cup. Make sure this.
Maybe that's why you won so many cups.
Oh yes, oh yes. He knew how to prepare
maybe
for cup
maybe
games.
we also complemented each other, just for the sake of our viewers, so that you know what they know what we are talking about. You produced, may you so rest in peace, Malala, yeah, it's come from the hands of Castro Ndebele.
Oh yes.
Lakson
Mtanga.
To mention.
Oh yes.
But if you cause there are so many names that will come.
Yes. From that era.
From that era.
Utuwele Nkomazana went on to play for Highlanders in the States now.
Yeah.
Ukolwani Ndlovu. Hey, what a striker.
What a striker.
He's in the UK now. Opted for
did not make
school.
It,
yeah.
But the Takugaza.
Oh yes. Takadiru Sike.
My God.
What a midfielder.
My God.
But kulomfana matoda othiwa nguranga. Rangari Rise Reva.
Strike.
Yeah.
Ranga. Short.
Yeah. Mfana lwana matoda. Yikuthi ibhora at that time lalingabhadali. And the parents would discourage abantwana to pursue football. Ubaba kwayesatha uye training mfana. Hayi vele. Ngangisenza kokamntshontshe endlini. Ngamasaturday ngikwazi ukuthi umdala kakho Saturday the whole day. Ngimntshontshe umfana lwa. Anya kutshela.
So dealing with those boys, that's what you also took coming to MCTL. When I first found out, it's going to get trained so, because I was not used to that. And what a talent they call MCTL.
Oh yes, oh yes.
MCTL has ukuthi kulabafana abahluphayo mostly ngabebhora.
Yeah.
But you managed to tame them. When it came to second term, everyone was disciplined. You had that discipline. I remember Dumsane Fazondlo.
Oh yes.
Former Highlanders.
Yes.
Ngenye day training is Chama Pressa Wailiville.
Wailiville, oh yes.
Wailiville kakhulu. How you managed to discipline indlela owayenza ngayo ukuthi angene elayinini. Abantu, because these are the behind the scenes, abantu they might never know. But look at how it turned out.
Oh yes.
Otoro.
Oh yes.
Look at how they comrade Chimbishi. Look at how they look at how they turned out.
Oh, Edward Mashinya, eh?
Let's not talk about it because I'll get there. I'll get there. I've got a special question for Edward because he was my classmate.
Oh yes.
Yeah, because you managed to discipline the group and make sure we progress. A success goal going out to even our clubs with better players.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So my thing is, we took it from young blood, we brought it to Escolo. Escolo, I'm a teacher, a coach, always teacher.
Yeah.
We're not used to that. And we're beating teams left, right, and center. Many players that were playing for MCTL wanted to play for you. Such that when you left young blood, I think you left young blood for Highlanders.
For Dunlop.
For Dunlop.
Yes.
Players followed you.
Yes, they did. They did.
That's how much influence
did,
you
they
had with the
did.
players, and you managed to produce quite a number of players. Like we were saying, I'll get to Edward Machine. You had the eye to see which low yadlala ibhola. As we were saying, abadala babengavumi abantwana bedlala ibhola, but you could tell and see which this one is a soccer player. Akabuye ezodlala ibhola, and you built a massive team. And I remember, it's 99. You took the team to play Churchill.
Their centenary celebrations.
For their centenary celebration,
Yes, we were
they
invited
chose
there.
your team to come and play. Okay, because what a team that you
Yes,
you had built, and you had built a wonderful CV for yourself. Because even City started winning trophies, we started attending and winning. I'm a trophy from that. My thing is, you took it from young blood and brought it to
the school system, yeah.
and managed to. Which isikolo singadlali njengesikolo.
Yeah.
Abantu kwakumankaso eMCT
Kakhulu.
produced a number of players during the 4 years that I was at MCT. I had a classmate of mine, Edward Machine. He was a runner. Edward Machine was a runner.
And a high jumper.
A high jumper.
And a long
Not a
jumper.
footballer.
Not a footballer.
But Philani Mabhena said, this is a striker. I'm going to turn this boy into a prolific striker. You brought him in second term. Ekusheni phela besimhleka.
Yes.
Umgoma lo.
Yes.
Simfundisa uTobo wamthatha wamfundisa. That's how talented Philani Mabhena, for the benefit of the viewers. How did you see ukuthi this is a player, or this person could turn out to be a footballer?
I was privileged to work with a headmaster who loved sports. MCT at that time, Mandebele, Opa Mandebele. She loved sports. She supported me. I would present my programs, my proposals, without even arguing with me. She would avail the resources. She would avail the equipment, and each year I would start preparing the school team. First term holidays. Exactly. 2 weeks before schools open, we would start our training. And by the time we open schools, the team is already 3 weeks ahead of fitness. So when games start, because games would start 2 weeks into the term, so it's basically 4 weeks of preparation. So very team yami right konke kukhona, and even imali zokugada zabafana she would avail during those holidays. So I was lucky to have met her who understood football, understood sports. Like you have put it, when we played school football, Iporale School would start 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
We had to chow 5 with the last game. But still, Abantwana would wait to go home and watch the first team play.
Yeah.
It was just a massive environment for the kids and those that went on to play serious football. Who welcome brothers to Charles Manda, fantastic player. Who Eddie Machine went on to play in Europe. I think he went to Cyprus. Yeah.
But you haven't answered my question. How did
you
see?
Yes. What I devised then was a class competition where each class would select its own team. Phela lina abafana bebhola liyazana eclassini. La lisazana ukuthi lo uyadlala. So I would have that tournament ukuthi ama-form ones play versus each other. Ngibo team okay nasiyani khona. Then ama-form twos would do the same thing. Form 3s would do the same thing, and Form 4. So Edward, I think he was in Form 2. But he was such a big tall boy, and very quick, very athletic,
fast.
He was struggling with the ball control here and there, but those were minor things in my observation on him. And since it don't follow, he started playing under 17.
Yeah.
Was at school, it was under 17 and under 20. So what compana, but by his big build, he quickly progressed to the senior team. It takes a Form 2. Why is it like first team?
What was
Yes.
But he was scoring for fun.
Yes, he was strong aerially. Very strong.
Groomed him to be a proper footballer. Look how it turned out.
Yes.
Then the centenary celebration that we touched on, Churchill, we had managed to build a quality team MCT, and we had won things. Originate.
Yes.
We went aside.
We were second best to Mzilikazi High School.
And Tina Besingela High School.
And we were just secondary school.
Besingela High School.
Mzilikazi had advantage of A level.
Yeah.
So they would have a stronger team.
But
I remember Umdaluchi Romo would fear our team. He was head in charge of soccer. Abuye vela azosibukela ukuthi kanti vele uMabhena lapha kuhamba njani labafana labana but actually vele labo form 3 bana bafuna form but sidlala ibhola enye ngenzi
elisabisa uthi yakwanisa ukuthi ithole invite to go and play that side because Churchill yayisabisa.
Oh yes Churchill, Prince Edward,
I remember it was a big thing for us.
It was a big thing, and thanks to the head also who agreed to fund it, because we had to fund ourselves as a school. But she appreciated Uguti, let me expose these boys, talented as they are, let me allow them to go and play, tournament play. We went by train, everybody was so excited.
Now, Mr. Mabhena, you had done justice to junior football. You've moved to Highlanders. What's the transition like, coaching young boys? Because basically was with a hot topic, any funny trick where Yakarimpa.
I think I'm a teacher, so like a teacher.
But what I liked about you, you were not like proper teachers. Like I say, I'm a teacher, I'm a teacher. But what was the transition like, coaching junior football now to the senior level?
Maybe I'll go back a little bit. When I went to Highlanders, maybe Bangkolele when Highlanders, I thought to Kenya lapana wangroba. I had a project worked by Sunrise. After I left Dunlop, I formed my own project with Sunrise. Kona panema kwekwe West. Yabombongeni, labo bekthemba nkiwane, labo thubeli hlenkomazana. Labo Kholwane, labo Mtutuzi Hlongwane, I had one left foot atwa ngunhlanhla ubhanda. So uKen wabona ukuthi umuntu lo asingeze umthathela abafana bakhe. Ngono sithathe yena.
So that
then I went to Highlanders 2001 from Sunrise. So naturally abafana bonke they came with me there. Othuba hlenkomazana, ubekthemba, oKholwane, uMtutuzi Hlongwane. They all went to Highlanders. And I remember I took one striker from Wanderers. What one was Cyril Mzamba. What a prolific center forward. So I went there 2 years, then I left. Then I went and started a project. I went to Bloom Celtics, West, under 17, then Division 3, then we got promoted to Division 2, and then Economy Abanjan 2004. Then I went to Botswana. I'm also an artisan. So I was doing construction in Botswana, fitting wardrobes and whatever in kitchens. So I met Madinda when he was at Township Rollers in one supermarket. Ndotula, mina know I'm here. Would you please come and watch my training? He was coaching Township Rollers, 2006. So sapinda foot after a week. Then I eventually went there. I observed his training and so on, and he saw my input. We developed a relationship from that time. Then he left Rollers. He went to Nico. Nico, Highlanders calls him 2008. It no Matinda team ya structure. It was Ernest tasking his treasurer then. Hotel contacts Matinda at no, it's okay. Then I had joined a team called Mkhotisani Fighters. What Highlanders did at that time, they loaned out players. Ababe access good development yabo Amanda 19 11 Division 2. So they loaned out to Thomas Mketiwa, Ubekthemba Nkiwane, the late Lomfana Lo wehlala intumbani striker uMboma Patrick Mpofu to Mkhotisani Fighters. So Ubekthemba Nkiwane gets to Mkhotisani Fighters. This is them struggling. Abesetshelwa ucoach ukuthi no, dinga umuntu onje. I was in Gaborone. Dinga umuntu onje. Bandingi. Ngithi imuthi amasochi ithingani lapha edini. Babuye the chairman was a Kalanga guy from ngapha eSivia. Angikhuluma isindebele. Mabhena kunjani? Mina ngiyaphila. Awubuzo sincede lapha team iya struggle. It was in Premier League iMkhodzana Fighters. Fighting relegation. Angiyekele ukuhamba. Babuye following day.
Umkhupho uyokuyekela ukuhamba ngawo
Uyabudonda ngithi into lezi. Ngiyekele ukuhamba. Baphenduka futhi following day lo ubekuthemba ngikweni. Atobi, abantu aba serious. Then I went and joined them. We survived the relegation. So Matinda is watching. Since this guy has joined this team, there's progression. It it has survived the relegation and so on. So input right. So when Highlanders is talking to Matinda, I said, no, mina kulomuntu enza sebenza la. Kunman la. Then Highlanders got hold of me 2008. I eventually agreed to come to be Matinda's assistant 2009. Unfortunately, the system in Highlanders at that time, chairman was outgoing, but he hired the technical team the previous season to start the next season. So tina sakhatshwa ngu-Ernest, may he so rest in peace. Sisiyalidwa nguThemba Ndlela. So Ernest said, no, you guys come and build the team for us. We assembled Ariel. We are the one who brought Ariel. Ariel, Bruce Kangwa, Oloson Nkomo, Labokeni, we introduced them to senior team bit by bit. So uThemba ngena wasethi mina madoda ngifuna ichampionship. Mina okay, but sithetha abantwana la.
Sub-build.
Sithetha abantwana. I remember we took Bruce Kangwa from Red Stars. Umfana le 18 or 19 years. Ufuna ichampionship njani?
Abafana abancane.
You see. I remember any game we went to Dynamo Sinarari. Dynamo is labo Cuthbert Malachila o lo Kishmael Tamban lo Echabungulo o Maruf. Yeah. 20 minutes. That's a child for note.
Oh, that's the 5-0 loss.
Yeah, apeli 4. Apeli 4. Kubambo Ariel. Ekuka so ekepti Ariel. Ametle eyakhiphe so ekuka. Zathi mana manje ngodlala. Asikuchinji. Even forces ingenela asikukhipha. Azimkhipha nga because we had to go through that process of learning, of building the club. Kanti ngapha uchairman otomucha usethe ufuna league. So into yakhona eventually it forced sour relations with